Hi guys, it's Sam from Creatively Sam's, and today I've made shepherd's pie. It's a lot easier to make than it looks, and if you want to see how I did this, stay tuned. It's coming up next. Okay, what we need is some mashed potatoes. So you're going to need a couple of pounds of potatoes, peeled and chopped, a stick of butter, and a quarter to a half cup of milk. And you're just going to dice up the potatoes and cook them, as I'm doing over there. And when they're done, we're going to drain them and mash them, add the milk and the butter, and make them nice and fluffy. And then we're going to set the mashed potatoes aside. And we need one medium yellow onion, finely chopped, 2 stalks of celery, diced. And what I'm going to do is chop those all up, and I'm going to add them to water and cook them until the onions become translucent. And you've seen me do that dozens of times. Okay, then you need a pound to a pound and a half of ground beef. You need a package of frozen mixed vegetables. I have a 2-pound pack here. I'm not sure how much I'm going to use, but since I'm a vegetable fanatic, I'll be eating that if there's anything left over. Salt to taste. A half a cup of beef or chicken broth. I like chicken and I always use the low sodium, but beef is just as good, especially since we are using ground meat. We need 2 tablespoons of tomato paste and 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Okay, the mashed potatoes, as soon as they're done, we're going to just set those aside, and I'm going to combine the celery and the onions in a small pan. Okay, I have diced the onions and the celery, and I'm going to put them in a small pot. And I really don't think I'm going to need this many, but I'd rather have more than I need than not enough. And I'm going to add water to this, bring it to a boil, and I'm going to let this cook until the onions are translucent, as you have seen me do so many times before. And we'll be back after that's done. Okay, potatoes are all done, and I'll be covering those with plastic wrap and setting them aside till I need them, because that's the last thing that goes in. So the celery and onions are boiling, and they're getting there slowly but surely. And the water in the back is boiling for the mixed vegetables. Okay, now for the filling. On a very low flame, I'm going to brown the ground meat. My ground meat is really lean because it's actually ground sirloin, so I add water. It helps the meat to brown a little more evenly, and it doesn't chunk. So we're just going to cook this until the meat is completely cooked. Okay, now that the ground beef is all browned and the water is pretty much cooked away, I'm going to add the celery and onions, which have been drained. And since I love vegetables, I'm going to put them all in. And for those of you new to my channel, yes, I do have a candle burning because I'm cooking with onions. And when you burn a candle when you're cooking with onions, it helps to absorb the smell of the onions. I mean, you're still going to smell onions in the house, but nowhere near as overpowering. And I'm going to add the veggies. And that's the whole 2-pound bag of mixed vegetables. Get that all stirred up. And I'm going to let this cook for about 5 to 8 minutes until everything is cooked and mixed through. And we'll be back. Okay, I've got a large measuring cup, and to that I'm going to put the half a cup of the chicken broth, the 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, we'll say that 3 times fast, and the tomato paste, and I'm going to mix it well. And I find it easier to do it this way than to try and mix it in with the meat and vegetables in the frying pan. And as soon as this mixes up, I'll be adding it to the meat. Okay, now that it's all mixed together, I'm just going to pour this in here. And stir it up, and I'm going to heat it through for 5 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to preheat my oven to 375 degrees, and I've got a casserole dish that I have sprayed with non-stick spray. Of course, I always use the Pam butter flavor because that's the one I like the best. We'll be back in 5 minutes after this has had a chance to cook through and heat, and then I'm going to put it in the casserole dish. Okay, now that's all heated thoroughly and the sauce is mixed in well, I'm just going to put a layer of this on the bottom of the casserole dish. Now, to be honest with you, most people do not use a 2-pound bag of the mixed vegetables. My son and I absolutely love vegetables, so I add more. Most people use a 1-pound bag. Okay, I've got all the veggies in the bottom of the casserole dish, and I'm just going to cover this with a layer of mashed potatoes. And I'm going to bake this in a 375 degree oven, uncovered, for about 30 minutes. And this should lightly brown. And that gives it the crust. Okay, and I'm going to put this in the oven and we'll be back when it's done. Okay, 30 minutes are up. I took it out of the oven. It's nice and golden brown. And I have let this stand for 5 minutes. And now it's ready to be served. Wow, this is hot. Okay, I'm ready to taste it. Needs a little salt. Oh, that's perfect. So if you like what you saw, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and happy creating, everyone.